speak first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the speech therapy ministry that will be starting with Mercy Child Care.
Greetings.
Hello.
Mukama yeebazibwe. Yeah, I was impressed to come to America and find my first Sunday service in America. I go to a church that speaks Luganda. Mukama yeebazibwe. Amen. I'm so happy to be here. I just thank you so much for your time, Pastor Mark. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and all of you, thank you so much for giving in your time to come and listen to what God is doing in our ministries in Uganda. I would like to start by playing a short video that talks about Mercy Child Care Ministry. In Uganda, I'm a pastor in a church called Light the World Church. I will talk more about how that church started, and at the same time, I run an orphan care ministry called Mercy Child Care Ministry. Benjamin David happens to be the second kid we actually took care of through Mercy Child Care Ministry. And so I'll play the video and later on share. Pastor Wilfred and this is our home, Mercy Child Care Ministry. We have Thomas with children, orphans, at-risk slum children, and abandoned babies. We believe that a family is the best place for a child to grow in. What we do for the orphan children, we try to look for their extended family and empower them financially with the goal that in the long run, these children will grow up with their extended family. For street children, we try to look for the existing family members and try to reconcile these children with their family. And for abandoned babies, we look for loving Christian families which can take them in and adopt them. Good evening again. A little bit about myself. That's part of my family. My wife is not here with me. I came with my old son Graham is here. He's 5 years old. And for today, that's our new baby. Today she made 4 months. Yeah, Zoe. And a little bit about my personal story, I was around 10 years old when my dad lost his job. Growing up in my early childhood, we were in like a normal Ugandan family. But when he lost his job, our family moved to the slums. He sold his house and sold everything to take care of the family, of our family. So the 10 of us lived in the slums in just a 2-room house, just 1 bedroom for all of us, the kids, and 1 living room. And that's housing situation in the slums. We were living in like the Beverly Hills of the slums because like we had like lots of room, 10 people in 1 room. And so we had like a joint bathroom we shared outside. And so I was 13 years old. My dad moved me to this school which was near to the slums, and I met 4 guys who changed my life. One of them is Philip, another one is called Ben, another one is called Ben, Wilson, and Wilson. So Wilson, he's an orphan, lost both of his parents to HIV, and so Wilson, when his parents died, Wilson started living on the streets. So one day Wilson wanted to commit suicide because he wanted someone to pay for him to go to school. He needed to get an education and a place to stay but couldn't. So he decided to stand in the middle of a high traffic road. You know, Kari has been to Uganda. You know how our driving is different from American driving. You know, it's like you're driving in battlefield. God helped him. A car did not knock him, but a good Samaritan came and grabbed him and took him to a church. And it was at the church where one of the church members said that he would take on the burden of paying for his school fees and take care of him. So he was brought to that school where I met him. Philip came from a similar slum. The slum where we stayed, I think you've seen pictures of the slums. You know, there are places with very bad drainage down in the valley. And whenever it would rain, like the homes would flood, and like water comes inside your houses and everything gets messed up. So the kids at school would make fun of us whenever school was done, and we are walking towards the slums where our house was, and like, hey, you guys, I think you're taking a wrong route. And like, why? Your house probably might have floated over to the other side. So Philip actually became a friend of mine. He came from a very poor family. And there's Ben, not Ben David, he's called Pastor Ben. He's now, he's also an orphan. So Philip shared the gospel to me, and I gave my life to Christ. And we started, the 4 of us started leading a high school fellowship. And we saw God transform lives of students in our high school fellowship. And I was 17 years old. Philip and Wilson, they were 18, and Ben was 15. The Lord called the 4 of us to go and plant a church in our last year in high school. So, like, okay, yes, Lord, we know you called us. When we grow up, we shall go and do it. You know, we felt it strong on our hearts, and we moved into this community that the Lord laid on our hearts. It's called Nansana. By then, Nansana was an unchurched area. It had the biggest number of witch doctors in our community. So like after like 4 homes, there was a shrine for witch doctors. People in that community, whenever they would be sick, they wouldn't go to the doctor, they would go to witch doctors, you know, for every single thing. And so the Lord took us to that community, and we started preaching the gospel. So when we went there, we were just 9 high school students, and we were so blessed that we had a mango tree that was there on the property, which was not ours. So we just we would go, yeah, we would go and shelter under the mango tree. That's one of the pictures we took. And you know, when life had begun to become good, you see, our church was fully air conditioned, so you would see everything going on, you know. Like I remember one time we were worshiping, and out of the blue, one of the church members begins to laugh. So I was like, wow, is this the joy of the Lord in the house? Because he saw a cow chasing a man. So he was so distracted and was laughing. So, so he was laughing after that. And the Lord has been faithful. Now it's coming to 13 years when we moved in that community. We have seen the Lord change that neighborhood. More and more churches have been planted in that neighborhood. Witch doctors, people who used to lead the shrines, have given their lives to Christ. I remember the other year, one guy walked to me and is like, "Pastor, thank you so much, for serving God. I am now born again." And I'm like, "Okay." I used to be a witch doctor. And I was like, "Oh, praise the Lord." And I was like, "But I see many of my former clients in the church here." So actually, people who used to believe in witchcraft now believe in the one true God. And our church has grown to 5,000 members. And this is our auditorium where we worship from. And we are so, we really thank God for what He's doing in a church. Like, on a Sunday, it's not about like the preacher or, it's just about God at work in that area. Because like when I'm starting service, the first thing I come and start with is like, after worship, is there anyone here who would like to give their lives to Christ? Like sometimes 10 people, sometimes 20 people. The last time we baptized it was 83 people, and then after like 1 month we baptized another 70 people. So there's been such a move of God. We are seeing God move in our community. People giving their lives to Christ and turning away from their wicked ways and following God. And we do what we call a worship night. In our country, the church has been divided. We have each denomination, they do their own thing. So we call all the people to come together for one night and we worship one true God. So we go in a stadium, and so like over 20,000 people come in that stadium every November, and we spend the whole night worshiping God. So Wilson, one of the guys who wanted to commit suicide, he went and, he's a musician, so he went and sang about his life story. That was around 13 years ago. And he used to put on one yellow shirt, and people would call him Yellow. So whenever they would see him walk, they would say, "Hey, Yellow, Yellow, Yellow." And so in that song, he was thankful to God that he got a family that took him back to school, and he has more than one shirt. So he shared about how he lived on the streets, how he was an orphan. It was in that song. So when Wilson sang about that song, that music went viral in the country, that many people related to that song. And they had an award ceremony, and he was voted the best gospel artist.
Really?
And over the years, his music has been like that. He's been like the best gospel artist. Like 6-7 years ago, his music even went out to the secular world. That people who are not believers, they like his music. So they've actually played his music, which is preaching the gospel, in their clubs. So they've invited. We've used that as an opportunity to invite secular celebrities to church. We do this once every 2 years. It's called a Celebrity Sunday. This year we did it in January, and over 600 secular celebrities came to church, who never go to church. And we got an opportunity of sharing the gospel to them. So we told our church members, please don't come, because they played it like on national TV, the church service. And so we tell them, you stay at church, leave the church, for the non-believers. And so it was open. So they came, and we had an opportunity to share Christ to them. And we have seen fruits. Many of them have given their lives to Christ. Some of them have actually sent their wives. Their wives go to our church. And it's been good to see how God has used Pastor Wilson's music to touch the hearts of people in our nation. And So the other thing we did at the time when we started the church, when I was 17 years old, we started two things. We started by renting our small 8 by 10 foot shack, and you know, we had a very fancy 4 feet size bed. So me, Wilson, Ben, and Philip, the four of us, shared that bed. So like, if you're wondering how you can fit 4 people on a 4 feet bed, I'm going to give you free advice. So one of us would put the head the other side, the other on the opposite side, and the other on the opposite side. So like you don't turn around, like if you're sleeping and you want to change position, so you would do like this and and we slept like that. But people in Uganda thought we had a lot of room. So people like Benjamin, David, when they needed a place to stay, they're like, oh yeah, he needed a place to stay. Like, yeah, these guys have a house. I see there's a lot of room, a lot of wasted room there. Like when I come here to the US and see, I was amazed my first time to see a house. It was almost like the size of the church, and I'm like, that's a castle. How many people stay there? And I was like, maybe 3 and a cat. Wow, so they were going to tell me like 100 people, someone stays there with his entire clan, all his neighbors. They stay in this one neighborhood. But so in Uganda they thought we had a lot of room, so we had to stack some of them on the floor. We had our chair and then some would sleep there. And so time came, we had like 9 teenage boys, who needed a place to stay, and they were actually staying with us. So when people knew about Wilson's music and how he was an orphan. So whenever someone would find an orphan, they would say, oh, why should we take this orphan? I think these people, since they have been orphaned, they would take good care of them. So they brought them to us, and it opened up our home like that. But the need was big. Uganda has, when we did our census, 24 million people, and 2.4 million orphans were in Uganda, which made Uganda with the biggest percentage of orphans in the whole world.
Really?
7.5 million children are termed in the category of orphans and vulnerable children in Uganda. Uganda has the second youngest population, and so we looked for a way of addressing the orphan problem. But from its root cause, we did not just come and give a cancer patient just pain relief medicine. We wanted to give a cancer patient chemotherapy. We wanted to deal with the issue from its root cause. We thought about building gigantic orphanages. Would that be a solution to the orphan problem? It would mean building orphanages for 2.4 million children. And what would happen to the next generation? We are not solving the problem. So over the past 30 years, an estimation of $1 trillion has been channeled from the Western bank accounts to Africa. But the standard of living in Africa, over the past 30 years, it keeps on worsening. And you see people keeping on staying in poverty in spite of how much money of your taxpayers' money that actually goes there to fix the problem. But in some cases, it has been a part. It has been a part of the problem in some areas. Where we have like some dictators and some bad leaders who have stayed in place for long years. Our president has been president for only 29 years, and he is standing for another term. In our country, 1 trillion Uganda shillings, that's like 10% of our national budget is lost to corruption. 148 billion US dollar, according to the African Union, in 2002, they estimated that money to be lost every single year in corruption in Africa. So the problem of Africa is not money. The problem of Africa is leaders. If we have to change Africa, We need to raise up the next generation of godly leaders who are going to bring about transformation for the glory of God in our country. So at Mercy Child Care Ministry, that is what we are committed to. We go to the streets, we call it the 4R process. We begin by rescuing kids to the streets. We go to the streets, the slums, build relationships with people there, because when you come to Uganda, you know, like when Kari and Katie were in Uganda, they just literally wanted to adopt everyone, you know, like you just want to help everyone. And we are committed to taking care of the most vulnerable kids. 1 out of 10 kids in Uganda do not live to celebrate their 5th birthday. So we look for that one child who is so vulnerable that will not make it, and we identify them through building relationships with in the slums. We go there, hang out with people, visit them, and we have we have like soccer programs. We play with them soccer, and we know the most vulnerable kids, and we're able to rescue them. We are among the few in Uganda have this now. It used to be like 50, but now they've been cut out. It's around 22 approved homes in the country. So we are among the few approved homes in the country. And you know, the recent survey they did, our home was ranked. There 2 homes were commended. The remaining homes were had recommendations, and our home was among the 2 homes in the whole country that was commended. And we were now elected to sit on the district orphans and vulnerable children's committee. So we are in charge of our leadership. I do actually sit on that team when they are discussing issues about orphans and vulnerable children in our district. So I forgot I talked about and okay, so we are committed to raising up, going to the slums, getting those kids. When we get them, after rescuing, we go to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, most of the kids, by the time we get them, they are so malnourished, they are so sick, and we have some, you know, like Brian. Brian was, we got him from, he was in a toilet, you know, like he was abandoned in a 30-feet long drop toilet. His mother is mentally ill, and that's where, and he was abandoned in that. After giving birth to a kid, she just threw him in a 30-feet long drop toilet. So when the police came and rescued the baby, they brought him to us. So after getting the kids, we bring them to this home. We have that housing situation. So the other house down there is the baby's home. Children below 3 years of age. Our youngest right now is Gabriel. Gabriel came when he was 4 days old. The mother passed away while she was giving birth, and he was only 1 pound. No, let me see. 2 kilograms of 4 pounds. 4 pounds. He was 4 pounds when we had him, and a miracle that happened with Gabriel is they tested him. The mother had HIV, so it meant that there were like a big percentage that he contracted HIV, and we took him to the doctors, and the doctors said they did a PCR test, PCR, DNA, HIV test. I'm not a nurse, so I don't know those things. They said it was like the very accurate thing, the test they would do that would distinguish, you know, if he had like from the antibodies of the mother and be like directly from the kid. So that test showed positive at first, so they had to do 2 confirmatory tests, and we asked them, is there any chance that the next test can come negative? Like, there is just a 2% chance that the child, the results will come back negative. Praise God, there's a 2% chance. So we prayed, and we thank God that the other Friday we had the last confirmatory test, and the next confirmatory test showed he was HIV negative, and the last one was HIV negative. So praise God for that. Yeah, so pray for him. he has now hydrocephalus. So I left when they had taken him to the hospital to go and have that. They would put a shunt in him to drain that. So from rescuing kids, we come to rehabilitation here. So after rehabilitation, then we go to reunification. You know, if a child has an extended family, we find out why the extended family could not take in this child. So in most cases, the extended family is going to tell you, we are poor, I can't afford to take care of my own kids, then why would I take care of my brother's kids? For every 4 households in Uganda, they have an orphan kid in their homes. In every 4 households, there's one household that has an orphan in Uganda. So what we do is we have a program called Family Empowerment and Preservation. We come and stand alongside the extended family and find out, some of them, we have a microloans program. It began with a gift of $5,000. So we went to the slums and started teaching these ladies, business skills and how to start a small micro business. We gave them these loans and told them to bring them back with an interest rate, with a small interest, 10%, which is just, in Uganda, that's very little, because the Bank of Uganda, when it's lending other banks, last time I knew it was 15% lending rate. So but when you go to a bank to get loans, it's around 24, and it can go up to 30% when you're getting a loan from banks. So most people don't even have collateral, like the poor people, so they can't access bank loans. So they go to money lenders. Money lenders, they will charge you up to 30% per month interest. And I know people who have lost most of their things to the exploitation of money lenders. So what we do is we give them these small loans and give them, it has been successful. We've had only one defaulting case, and now we have over 300 ladies that are saving in this program and are benefiting in this program. So we give loans in groups. We put them in accountability groups of 5 ladies who know one another, and they hold one another accountable. So we give a loan to a group, not an individual. So if one of the members takes the loan and they actually don't pay, the group takes on the liability. So no one would want to be in a group with someone they don't trust, or they know is not going to use the money for what we have given them to use that money for. And it has helped, because when one of the ladies goes and gets a loan, and tomorrow they see her making her hair, they come and run after her, You have to go, we want to see you do this. We don't do the supervision. And that's why we registered such a good paying back rate. And we empower the extended family member. When their social status improves, we reunite the kid back to them. So that's the whole vision of Mase. So part of this village we are building a self-sustaining village. That's our vision. A vision that is financially self-sustaining, because our goal is not to keep on asking for donations. We want to use the donations for the capital expenses. So once the village is built, it will be able to take care of itself. And over the years, taking care of orphans, one of the main needs we have is shelter. So our goal is to build a maximum of 10 homes on that village. And after that, the second need is medical care, feeding. You need to eat. So we acquired 22 acres of land, and we started this season to grow our own food. So in the next year or so, we will be more and more sustainable. We'll be able to have our own food for the orphans that we care for. And the other thing is medical, because kids get sick a lot, we are in the process of building a medical center. So this is how far our medical center is. This is going to give us an opportunity to minister 2 years. In Uganda, less than 2% of the population are above 62 years. So when I come, in Uganda, for someone to tell you that you are old, it's a compliment. They started calling me old man when I was 17 years of age, because old age is wisdom. The more someone has lived longer, they've experienced a lot, and they have a lot of wisdom they can pass on. So we live in a community where that is not there. Uganda's median age is 15 and a half years in Uganda. So like in our church, if you tell me to get you 5 people who are above 60 years, I don't know. I know one lady who's, and my dad just made 65 years. Yeah. So he just made, I think he's not above 65. Above 65. So that's what we are doing, self-sustainability in the form of medical as well. So we want to be able to treat people in our community, but most importantly, teach people how to prevent sickness, because 90% of diseases people treat can be prevented by washing your hands. Malaria kills 400 Ugandans every day.
What does?
Malaria.
Oh, malaria, sure.
So when you sleep under a mosquito net, reduces chances of you getting malaria by 60%. So simple things like that, teach them to the community, so that in the long run, people in our community will live longer and not leave behind orphans. And it's important that when babies are sick, when babies are, one thing that's on my heart mostly, Graham and Joshua, my 2 kids, when they were born, they had jaundice. Okay. And they were in this hospital. He was prescribed to be on 2 jaundice lights for 48 hours. But over 30 kids were waiting on those 2 lights, and there was no way he would get both of them on him. So it was sad. We ended up staying there for a month. I saw babies die in the hospital, but like the biggest percentage of people, kids will not actually come to the hospital. Did you go to the labor ward?
Yes.
Yeah, that labor ward,
yeah.
Like down there, you see, like how many ladies were there giving birth by themselves?
125 women giving birth by themselves.
In the labor ward.
Yeah,
in
on the floors, in the hallways, everywhere. Yeah.
So that's why like 17 mothers every day die in Uganda giving birth or after birth related complication. Like Gabriel's mom, she wouldn't have died. She gave birth in a very funny place, and they had to give her an injection which cost like less than $1. 1,000 shillings, that's a third of $1. That's like, and they didn't give her that injection which would help her stop bleeding. So they didn't do it, and so she went back, and then the next day she came and she had a lot of blood had left her, and she passed on. So we're talking about people who die, they would not have died because of poor medical care in the area. And some people, like in our community, it has 20,000 people, not the slums but where the children's village is, but people have to walk a distance of up to 10 kilometers to go and access a medical center, and there's no nearby medical center they can actually walk to. So when they're sick, it's really hard for them, and there are people who die which they would not have died. Yeah, so in a community like that where normal children are abandoned, children with special needs face very high risk. This is Kovia, one of our kids. That's the day we got her. She has cerebral palsy, and she was just, you would put her in that corner. She was 3 years by then. You would put her in that corner, go away, and come back in the evening, find her in that corner, a 3-year-old baby. Developmentally, she was like a 3-month-old baby, 3 or 4-month-old baby. She could not drink by herself. She would open her mouth and just pour in her, you know. She would not cry, she would not do anything. The dad is living with HIV in the slums. On a very blessed day, he gets to eat 1 meal a day. So he would leave her in the corner, lock her in the house, go to look for that 1 meal a day. So whenever he would come back and need to find something to eat, he would come and just pour water in her mouth, and everyone was waiting for the day she was going to die. So he actually meets me. I was in the slums. Like, hey, Pastor, can you come and just look at my child? So come and look at the child, terrible state. Grabbed her, took her right away to the hospital. The doctors were like, if this child stayed longer, probably they might have lost their life. So we got Scovia, and so Scovia right now is, she's a happy kid. You can see. She talks a lot. I'm welcoming you to Uganda to come and meet Scovia. She started even like walking with a stick. At her school, they call her Scovia Jaja Wabana, like old lady, But now in Uganda, they call you old lady. It's not bad, It means like you are like the celebrity of the place. Yeah, like everyone would go to Scovia and asking her, So there's another kid, Caleb. We go to the police and we find this kid who could not talk, who was breathing all over like this, and he was walking with the grandmother, and so he got lost from him. So because he couldn't talk, they couldn't find out where he was going, they couldn't identify where he was coming from. So we got Caleb and brought him in. So he's among the few kids. He's among the kids that need speech therapy. When Kari will be coming, she'll be dealing with such kids, and helping out. We have now 20 kids in a similar situation who needs speech therapy. It took me over a year to look for a speech therapy in Uganda.
Wow.
I looked everywhere, and like in our church has so many members, I had to ask people, and I found 2 who were there, and they were really, really busy. So I was praying to God, and when Ben was talking to me, I was like, wait a minute, Kari, she's a speech pathologist? I'm here suffering, we need these kids to get speech pathology. I didn't even know that stammering is a speech issue, because in Uganda, you just live by it, with it, if you're stammering, you just stammer, because there is no something like speech pathology. And so I challenged them, and I was so blessed to hear that she is coming, So just want to thank you so much for sending them, and I just want to thank you so much for your support. I don't know if you have any questions, if there are many ways you can be involved in Mercy Child Care Ministry, you can send them, you can also, sponsoring a child, you can also pray with us, and you can come and see us, please. We want you there. God has blessed you with so many gifts. America has so many good speech pathologists. We need physiotherapists there, we need doctors, we need nurses. Please come, and we will benefit a lot in Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a pastor in Uganda. Pastors talk for so long, and we preach for like 2 hours. That's our sermon in Uganda. So I'm sorry. I hope I didn't get the Ugandan style. Thank you so much. After that, we shall answer your questions if you have any questions.
Yeah, so I'll just mention briefly about what we'll be doing with speech therapy. So as Wilfred said, we'll be coming to work alongside them to start a speech therapy ministry in Uganda. So we'll be beginning with the 20 kids that are at Mercy Child Care to provide speech therapy services. But our main thing is that we'll be working with caregivers, parents, teachers, and people who are in the local speech therapy program to empower them to start practicing speech therapy so that they can reach their communities. There is a local speech therapy program at Kari University, but the graduates aren't practicing after they graduate because there's no support for them to do so. So they're graduating, but then not doing anything with their degrees. So we're hoping to set up an internship program so that we can work alongside them and support them to get started their first year so that they feel competent and confident in their skills so that they can go out and reach their communities and so that we can reach more people. The need is huge. There's 5 million people in Uganda, or 5 million children who don't have access to the therapy services that they need. So the more people we can train, the more good that it can do. So we'll be going on November 10. We'll be moving there to start that program, and then we'll be there indefinitely. But hopefully we'll be there to train people, but then they'll be able to practice on their own. So, yes. Good question. Yes.
I'm guessing English is not the first language.
Yes.
So how does that work for speech therapy?
Most kids are all kids in school.
Yes, and
learning
it's like
English.
the younger kids will be in school, and in school they teach in English,
Oh, they
so
do?
they'll
Yeah.
speak
Okay.
some English.
Because it's one thing to do speech therapy if you don't know what they're supposed to be saying.
Right, yes. Yeah, so most of the kids do speak English, which will be a huge help. But then also with partnering with the local university, we'll
Yeah.
have those students there too, so that we can work alongside each other. And if the kids don't speak English, we can at least work with them and they can bridge the language
Okay.
barrier gap. So,
Great.
yes, yeah.
Hey, Kari.
And you're going to learn Luganda.
Yeah, yeah.
We will
Teaching
teach
me.
you.
Yeah. And also, when I was in grad school, I did a project on Luganda, the local language, when Ben and I had first started dating. So I had to learn all the characteristics of the language, and I
some
recorded
advantage.
him. So I know all the characteristics of their language, and I'm getting more familiar with that. So I have a big old resource that I had to type up that now I can actually use, which is cool to see how God worked that out. So, yeah.
Maybe you want to share how you met the girl who's going to Calvary and her mother, who's a doctor there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Unique story.
Yeah, so we also met, there's a girl who's going to Calvin this coming year from Uganda, and Ben met with her and her mom when he was there in May, and then we met with them again when they came here just a month ago.
Okay.
So her mom is actually a surgeon at the local hospital, and she's a professor at Kari University where there's the speech therapy program. So she has connected us with so many people there to be able to start working in the hospital someday, or at least work alongside them
Yeah.
to get their speech therapy program going. And then also she has gotten us into the university so that we can work with those speech therapy professors as well. So that was definitely a huge blessing and answer to prayer to have that, all those doors wide open for when we go.